and a good afternoon to everybody. Hello, how are you? The Chatting Magpie is here, along with the rest of this unruly group of mischief makers. How are you guys? Welcome, gang. Happy to see you.
Wow.
We are the cats, and she is trying to hurt us.
We refuse.
I think the only person, I am so sorry, Teal, for grouping you in with this lot. Teal is the best behaved one here. Like, Teal, you're like the model student.
I am. I'm teacher's pet.
Yeah, especially because you're also doing highlighting duty. Wow. Just kidding, you guys. I have no favorites. I love all of you, especially, like the people on the YouTube chat. Always happy to see them, whether you're part of Discord gang or not. So welcome. I do want to say
she may have no favorites, but she has a least favorite.
Moving on, Patrick. I thought you were gonna behave. Remember, no mischief today because we want to be.
I said I'd try.
Okay, fine. Trying. Let the trying start for sure right now. Okay. All right. So yeah, like I said, you guys, we're gonna try to do 2 chapters, but our time is a little limited, so we will dial down the nonsense today. Okay, we will dial it down just a little bit, and so we can get started reading. But we don't want to start reading until I say hello to the people who have posted extensively on the chat. Yay. But also Teal, who was the very first one who showed up. And Teal says, Edmond Dantès didn't need revenge. He needed a cold Dr. Pepper, the true drink of intellectuals. One sip and he'd have time led past betrayal, rewritten fate with caffeine-fueled genius. And found the Stains Gate. Revenge is temporary. Carbonation is eternal. El Psy Congru. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay. We have been watching...
This stream brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
Should you have also included something about a jelly banana or something like that? I don't know. You guys... Right? It's so many references. By the way, you guys, today I was watching... What was I watching? Oh my gosh. I was watching somebody's like doing a tutorial, like in an Instagram reel, and they did that do, and I was like, I get the reference. So yeah, it's very I felt very accomplished because I understood where they were getting
our
the
magpie. Our magpie is the Captain America meme.
Yes. You guys, slowly but surely, I am becoming a true otaku. Just, give me some time. Like, I think somebody called me once a normie. And I'm not a normie. I'm not. But I do have to catch up on some anime references so I can understand all of this stuff. And then, eventually...
Things a normie would say for 500, please.
Oh, shush. And then I thought we're gonna dial down the normie. I mean the nonsense.
Listen. You tee me up, and I can't help it. I have to knock it down.
You must resist. Where was I? Oh my goodness. Am I getting? Well, anyway. We are watching Steins Gate, and at first, like, you guys warned me, and I'm glad I listened to you guys and I understood. The art style was kind of like old, but I don't mind because I am from the era where I was watching the original Fruits Basket and Oran Host Club. They all kind of have the same kind of feel, look, whatever. It wasn't the look, it was kind of like the mood and the confusion, and I was like, what is going on? These people are crazy. This guy's insane. But now I'm getting it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm glad I'm watching with you guys. If you guys want to watch Steins Gate with us, hop aboard the server, become a member. You can. Oh, by the way, for a limited time, I have Zent tier open and Ko-fi. I'm gonna close it soon, but it's open because somebody requested to join it. So think all of the people, all of you guys here in this chat, in this voice chat, are sent here, so you guys don't need to worry about that. But if anybody listening wants to hop aboard and become a Zent, it's open. It's open through Ko-fi, so I'm gonna close it soon. But just saying, I just haven't gotten around to it. All right. So let's see. Okay, so thank you, Teal, for that nice little tangent into Steins Gate, etc.
You said I don't do any mischief.
Right? Oh my goodness. Maybe I should take it back.
Now, is this really Teal's fault, or is it Magpie's for just going off on a tangent after reading a short little thing?
Fooey, don't answer that. Yay. Now, Yay, I think you should read your summary, because as much as I would like to channel my inner epic narrator voice, I don't think I can match yours. So would you like to read to the classroom the summary of what's happened so far?
Yes, teacher.
Why, thank you. Go ahead.
Last time on the Count of Monte Cristo, the king and his advisors, Duke de Blacas and Baron d'Andre, discussed the exceedingly unlikely possibility of Napoleon's escape from Elba to set Blacas at ease after he received a visitor who said he was returning to France. However, when the king learned that this information came from Gerard de Villefort, he became quite concerned and called on the young lawyer to advise him. No sooner had Villefort delivered his message than word came of Napoleon's escape from Elba and the subsequent march on Paris. The king and his advisors mourned the loss of General Quinzel to a mysterious blue-coated assassin, much to Villefort's growing concern. After leaving the king's chambers, Villefort was confronted by the same blue-coated assassin, who turned out to be none other than Nautier de Villefort, the would-be recipient of Dantès' letter and Gerard de Villefort's estranged father. Now the two are set to speak, but who can say on what or for how long? Find out today on The Count of Monte Cristo.
Bravo! Thank you so much for that beautifully put summary. And so yeah, we're gonna continue on reading chapter, I think it was, wait, hold on, I have it here, 12. We're gonna read chapter 12 and maybe chapter 13. What was
Apparently, while he was reading that, Crusher snuck in, saying that he sneezed while texting, and now he's stuck in traffic.
Crusher, gesundheit or salud, or bless you. I hope you're not coming down with something or that you have allergies. Drive safely, and once you get home, hop aboard and contribute to the general nonsense, but not too much nonsense, okay? All right, so let's get started.
Nonsense.
Stay on target.
Yes. So let's get started. So today reading we have, where's my Discord screen? Here we go. Gerard de Villefort is going to be read by Yay82. Monsieur Nortier de Villefort is going to be Teal, and that is Villefort's father. Monsieur Pierre Morel, that is Patrick. And then Mercedes is Magpie. I shall read that. And of course, our highlighter MVP is Teal. Thank you so much, everybody. I look forward to reading this now.
Are we going to see a fratricide?
You know what? I was wondering if that's what we're going to see. I don't know. A movie had it. Who knows? Let's see.
Could be a villicide.
Maybe. All right. Chapter 12. Father and Son. Monsieur Notier, for it was indeed he who entered, looked after the servant until the door was closed, and then, fearing, no doubt, that he might be overheard in the antechamber, he opened the door again. Nor was the precaution useless, as appeared from the rapid retreat of Germain, who proved that he was not exempt from the sin which ruined our first parents. Monsieur Notier then took the trouble to close and bolt the antechamber door, then that of the bedchamber, and then extended his hand to Villefort, who had followed all his motions with surprise, which he could not conceal.
Well, now, my dear Gerard,
said he to the young man with a very significant look.
do you know, you seem as if you were not very glad to see me?
My dear father, I am on the contrary delighted. But I so little expected your visit that it has somewhat overcome me.
But, my dear fellow,
Replied Monsieur Noirtier, seating himself.
I might say the same thing to you when you announced to me your wedding for the 28th of February, and on the 3rd of March you turn up here in Paris.
And if I have come, my dear father,
Said Gerard, drawing closer to Monsieur Noirtier.
do not complain, for it is for you that I have come, and my journey will be your salvation.
Ah, indeed.
Said Monsieur Noirtier, stretching himself out at his ease in the chair.
Really. Pray tell me all about it, for it must be interesting.
Father, you have heard speak of a certain Bonapartist club in the Rue de Saint-Jacques?
Number 53. Yes, I am vice president.
Father, your coolness makes me shudder.
Why, my dear boy, when a man has been proscribed by the mountaineers, who has escaped from Paris in a hay cart, been hunted over the plains of Bordeaux by Robespierre's bloodhounds, he becomes accustomed to most things. But go on. What about the club in the Rue Saint-Jacques?
Why, they induced General Quesnel to go there, and General Quesnel, who quitted his own house at 9 o'clock in the evening, was found the next day in the Seine.
And who told you this fine story?
The king himself.
Well, then, in return for your story, I will tell you another.
My dear father, I think I already know what you are about to tell me.
Ah, you have heard of the landing of the Emperor.
Not so loud, father, I entreat of you, for your own sake as well as mine. Yes, I heard this news, and knew it even before you could. For 3 days ago, I posted from Marseille to Paris with all possible speed, half desperate at the enforced delay.
3 days ago? You are crazy. Why, 3 days ago the Emperor had not landed.
No matter, I was aware of his intention.
How did you know about it?
By a letter addressed to you from the island of Elba.
To me?
To you, and which I discovered in the pocketbook of a messenger. Had that letter fallen into the hands of another, you, my dear father, would probably ere this have been shot.
Come, come. Will the Restoration adopt imperial methods so promptly? Shot, my dear boy. What an idea. Where is the letter you speak of? I know you too well to suppose you would allow such a thing to pass you.
I burnt it, for fear that even a fragment should remain, for that letter must have led to your condemnation.
And the destruction of your future prospects. Yes, I can easily comprehend that. But I have nothing to fear while I have you to protect me.
I do better than that, sir. I save you.
You do? Why, really, the thing becomes more and more dramatic. Explain yourself.
I must refer again to the club in the Rue de Saint-Jacques.
It appears that this club is rather a bore to the police. Why didn't they search more vigilantly? They would have found.
They have not found, but they are on the track.
Yes, that is the usual phrase. I'm quite familiar with it. When the police is at fault, declares that it is on the track, and the government patiently awaits the day when it comes to say, with a sneaking air, that the track is lost.
Yes, but they have found a corpse. The general has been killed, and in all countries they call that a murder.
A murder, do you call it? Why, there's nothing to prove that the general was murdered. People are found every day in the Seine, having thrown themselves in, or having been drowned from not knowing how to swim.
Father, you know very well that the general was not a man to drown himself in despair, and people do not bathe in the Seine in the month of January. No, no, do not be deceived. This was murder in every sense of the word.
And who thus designated it?
The king himself.
The king. I thought he was philosopher enough to allow that there was no murder in politics. In politics, my dear fellow, you know as well as I do, there are no men, but ideas, no feelings, but interests. In politics, we do not kill a man, we only remove an obstacle. That is all. Would you like to know how matters have progressed? Well, I will tell you. It was thought reliance might be placed in General Quesnel. He was recommended to us from the island of Elba. One of us went to him and invited him to the Rue Saint-Jacques, where he would find some friends. He came there, and the plan was unfolded to him for leaving Elba, the projected landing, etc. When he had heard and comprehended all that to the fullest extent, he replied he was a royalist. Then all looked at each other. He was made to take an oath, and did so, but was such an ill grace that it was really tempting Providence to swear thus. And yet, in spite of that, the general was allowed to depart free, perfectly free. Yet he did not return home. What could that mean? Why, my dear fellow, that on leaving us he lost his way, that's all. A murder? Really, Villefort, you surprise me. You, a deputy procurer, to found an accusation on such bad premises. Did I ever say to you, when we were fulfilling your character as a royalist, and cut off the head of one of my party, my son, you have committed a murder? No, I said, very well, sir, you have gained the victory. Tomorrow, perchance, it will be our turn.
But, father, take care. When our turn comes, our revenge will be sweeping.
I do not understand you.
You rely on the usurper's return?
We do.
You are mistaken. He will not advance 2 leagues into the interior of France without being followed, tracked, and caught like a wild beast.
My dear fellow, the Emperor is at this moment on the way to Grenoble. On the 10th or 12th, he will be at Lyon, and on the 20th or 25th at Paris.
The people will rise.
Yes, to go and meet him.
He has but a handful of men with him, and armies will be dispatched against him.
Yes, to escort him into the capital. Really, my dear Gerard, you are but a child. You think yourself well informed because the telegraph has told you, 3 days after the landing, the usurper has landed at Cannes with several men. He is pursued. But where is he? What is he doing? You do not know at all, and in this way they will chase him to Paris without drawing a trigger.
Grenobles and Lyons are faithful cities. They will oppose him an impassable barrier.
Grenoble will open her gates to him with enthusiasm. All Lyon will hasten to welcome him. Believe me, we are as well informed as you, and our police as good as your own. Would you like proof of it? Well, you wish to conceal your journey from me, and yet I knew of your arrival half an hour after you had passed the barrier. You gave your direction to no one but your postilion, yet I have your address. And in proof, I am here the very instant you are going to sit at table. Ring then, if you please, for a second knife, fork, and plate, and we will dine together.
Indeed,
replied Villefort, looking at his father with astonishment.
you really do seem well informed.
Eh? The thing is simple enough. You, who are in power, have only the means that money produces. We, who are in expectation, have those which devotion prompts.
Devotion.
said Villefort with a sneer.
Yes, devotion. For that is, I believe, the phrase for hopeful ambition.
And Villefort's father extended his hand to the bell rope to summon the servant whom his son had not called. Villefort caught his arm.
Wait, my dear father. One word more.
Say on.
However stupid the royalist police may be, they do know one terrible thing.
What is that?
The description of the man who, on the morning of the day when General Kisnel disappeared, presented himself at his house.
Oh, the admirable police have found that out, have they? And what may be that description?
Dark complexion, hair, eyebrows, and whiskers black, blue frock coat, buttoned up to the chin, rosette of an officer of the Legion of Honor in his buttonhole, a hat with wide brim, and a cane.
That's it, is it? And why then have they not laid hands on him?
Because yesterday, or the day before, they lost sight of him at the corner of the Rue de Coqueron.
Didn't I say that your police were good for nothing?
Yes, but they may catch him yet.
True.
Said Noirtier, looking carelessly about him.
True, if this person were not on his guard, as he is.
And he added with a smile.
He will consequently make a few changes in his personal appearance.
At these words he rose and put off his frock coat and cravat, went toward the table on which lay his son's toilette articles, lathered his face, took a razor, and, with a firm hand, cut off the compromising whiskers. Villefort watched him with alarm, not devoid of admiration. His whiskers cut off, Noirtier gave another turn to his hair, took, instead of his black cravat, a colored neckerchief which lay at the top of an open portmanteau, put on, in lieu of his blue and high-buttoned frock coat, a coat of Villefort's of dark brown, and cut away in front, tried on before the glass a narrow-brimmed hat of his son's, which appeared to fit him perfectly, and, leaving his cane in the corner where he had deposited it, he took up a small bamboo switch, cut the air with it once or twice, and walked about with that easy swagger which was one of his principal characteristics.
Well,
He said, turning towards his wondering son, when his disguise was completed.
well, do you think your police will recognize me now?
No, father. At least I hope not.
And now, my dear boy, I rely on your prudence to remove all the things which I leave in your care.
Oh, rely on me.
Yes, yes. And now I believe you are right, and that you have really saved my life. Be assured I will return the favor hereafter.
Villefort shook his head.
You are not convinced yet?
I hope at least that you may be mistaken.
Shall you see the king again?
Perhaps.
Would you pass in his eyes for a prophet?
Prophets of evil are not in favor at the court, father.
True, but someday they do them justice, and supposing a second restoration, you would then pass for a great man.
Well, what should I say to the king?
Say this to him: Sire, you are as deceived as to the feeling in France, as to the opinions of the towns, and the prejudices of the army. He whom in Paris you call the Corsican ogre, who at Nevers is styled as the usurper, is already saluted as Bonaparte at Lyons and Emperor at Grenoble. You think he is tracked, pursued, captured. He is advancing as rapidly as his own eagles. The soldiers you believe to be dying with hunger, worn out with fatigue, ready to desert. gather like atoms of snow about the rolling ball as it hastens onward. Sire, go. Leave France to its real master, to him who acquired it, not by purchase, but by right of conquest. Go, sire. Not that you incur any risk, for your adversary is powerful enough to show you mercy, but because it would be humiliating for a grandson of Saint Louis to owe his life to the man of Arcala, Marengo, Austerlitz. Tell him this, Gerard, or rather, tell him nothing. Keep your journey a secret. Do not boast of what you have come to Paris to do or have done. Return with all speed. Enter Marseille at night, and your house by the back door, and there remain, quiet, submissive, secret, and above all inoffensive. For this time I swear to you, we shall act like powerful men who know their enemies. Go, my son. Go, my dear Gerard, and by your obedience to my paternal orders, or if you prefer it, friendly counsels, we will keep you in your place. This will be,
added Noirtier with a smile,
one means by which you may a second time save me, if the political balance should someday take another turn, and cast you aloft while hurling me down. Adieu, my dear Gerard, and at your next journey, alight at my door.
Noirtier left the room when he had finished, with the same calmness that had characterized him during the whole of this remarkable and trying conversation. Villefort, pale and agitated, ran to the window, put aside the curtain, and saw him pass, cool and collected, by 2 or 3 ill-looking men at the corner of the street, who were there, perhaps, to arrest a man with black whiskers and a blue frock coat, and a hat with broad brim. Villefort stood watching, breathless, until his father had disappeared at the Rue Bussy. Then he turned to the various articles he had left behind him, put the black cravat and blue frock coat at the bottom of the portmanteau, threw the hat into a dark closet, broke the cane into small bits and flung it in the fire, put on his travelling cap, and calling his valet, checked with a look the 1,000 questions he was ready to ask, paid his bill, sprang into his carriage, which was ready, learned at Lyons that Bonaparte had entered Grenoble, and in the midst of the tumult which prevailed along the road, at length reached Marseille, a prey to all the hopes and fears which enter into the heart of man with ambition and its first successes. End of chapter.
The man's a fanatic.
That was fun to read.
Yay. So no patricide, so yet, maybe. No.
No, we'll get to Patrick later.
There you go. So I'm relieved. I don't think I want. We said that Villefort is a villain, but I didn't want him to be that kind of villain. Or so far, I don't want him to be that kind of villain. I don't know.
I mean, I think we mentioned it last time we read that he's kind of the mustache twirling, calculating villain, but he's not one to dirty his own hands. So I think he may arrange for an accident. Who knows? But I'm still thinking he's going to cause the downfall of his own father.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he wishes harm on him. He just, because he could have done something. He could have protested, how dare you, father, stop it, don't implicate me on your crime. Basically his dad's okay, you're gonna be now part of this assassination is you complicit. He basically helped him evade the authorities, and because they were telling him. So the situation with father and son is not as bad as I feared. I really thought it was really, really bad. Like they weren't even speaking or whatever. So I'm surprised and pleased.
That may have been, Villefort's intention, but his father was actively seeking his son out.
Yeah. But even Villefort, he wasn't like, he was just kind of like aghast at the coolness of the man, because this guy, he's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I've lived a long life and I've done all these crazy, dangerous things. This is nothing, and it ain't my first rodeo. So,
And he was proud to be a traitor. It's like, holy crap, this man, he doesn't care. He knows what he's doing.
again,
He believes in the cause.
you know what? I not that I believe in what they said, but I think it goes with like their mentality, because politicians are a sort of breed that they're like, well, yeah, that sucked. That's collateral damage, but it was for a good cause, or if it was a necessary sacrifice. Like, somebody died in this situation. You know what? It happens. This is politics. Like, you can't take it personally. That's kind of like how, like, they just detach themselves from it. I'm like, man, I hate politicians. It's just like, they're like, it's part of politics. But no, you killed a man. You assassinated him. You went to his house, and you assassinated him. You made him swear. Oh, jeez. Anyway, not that I would have also believed it, actually, if he had sworn it. I don't think so. But there were different ways to deal with the guy, I think. I don't know. Bribery? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think there's a way to deal with a general who will announce,
Okay, here's
I'm a royalist.
Here's how you do it.
In a Bonapartist club.
Here's how you do it. There's like 6 of you. You just bind him up. Bonaparte is coming in like a few days. By the time, like, in a week, he will have nothing to say. You just release him from his prison. It's like, you know what? It's politics. Sorry, my dude, but at least you didn't die. You know what? There were different ways to go about it. They could have just thrown him in the basement for like a week. Not kill the man.
Why take the risk?
Yeah. Oh, come on. You guys just want blood, huh?
Yeah.
You're trying to like save a man's life.
I think Magpie is making she's getting back her time from all the non-speaking that she did this chapter.
No, I actually really enjoyed this. Look, the next chapter, the 100 Days, is long. Okay, well, it has a long speaking. Basically, well, you guys will see. How about we just get to it? By the way, Teal, I love how you said Noirtier is pretty much Napoleon's Growsome or Hartmut. You know what? Yes, yes, I agree. And had you and Ye flipped the roles, I would have said, "Oh, it's Hartmut." Just, yeah. But yeah, I agree. He's one of those fanatics. I think every leader that's made a significant mark in history has had these kind of people to like be not to do the thing, but to like be the catalyst in some ways. So Georgine had hers, and Rosamund had hers.
The pot stirrer.
Yeah. So, all right, let us continue on and read the next chapter. It is chapter 13, the 100 Days. I believe the rules already accounted for, I think. Yay.
Yep.
Okay. So for this one, we're going to have Monsieur Pierre Morel and Mercedes, and everybody else remains the same. Teal, are you reading in this chapter?
No, that's okay.
Do you want to just do the Mercedes in case I get distracted or forget?
Sure.
Okay. Teal will do the Mercedes. Okay. Let's get this started. Chapter 13. The 100 Days. Monsieur Noirtier was a true prophet, and things progressed rapidly as he had predicted. Everyone knows the history of the famous return from Elba, a return which was unprecedented in the past and will probably remain without a counterpart in the future. Louis XVIII made but a faint attempt to parry this unexpected blow. The monarchy he had scarcely reconstructed tottered on its precarious foundation, and at the sign from the emperor, the incongruous structure of ancient prejudices and new ideas fell to the ground. Villefort therefore gained nothing save the king's gratitude, which was rather likely to injure him at the present time, and the cross of the Legion of Honor, which he had the prudence not to wear, although Monsieur de Blacas had duly forwarded the vervet. Napoleon would doubtless have deprived Villefort of his office had it not been for Noirtier, who was all-powerful at court, and thus the Girondin of '93 and the Senator of 1806 protected him, who so lately had been his protector. All Villefort's influence barely enabled him to stifle the secret Dantès had so nearly divulged. The king's procureur alone was deprived of his office, being suspected of royalism. However, scarcely was the imperial power established, that is, scarcely had the emperor re-entered the Tuileries and begun to issue orders from the closet into which we have introduced our readers, he found on the table there Louis XVIII's half-filled snuff-box. Scarcely had this incurred when Marseille began, in spite of the authorities, to rekindle the flames of civil war, always smoldering in the south, and it required but little to excite the populace to acts of far greater violence than the shouts and insults which would they assail the royalists whenever they ventured abroad. Owing to this change, the worthy shipowner became at that moment, we will not say all-powerful, because Morel was a prudent and a rather timid man, so much so that many of the most zealous partisans of Bonaparte accused him of moderation, but sufficiently influential to make a demand in favor of Dantès. Villefort retained his place, but his marriage was put off until a more favorable opportunity. If the emperor remained on the throne, Gerard required a different alliance to aid his career. Ooh, Gerard, you're that kind of guy. Sorry. If Louis XVIII returned, the influence of Mademoiselle de Saint-Méran, like his own, could be vastly increased, and the marriage be still more suitable. The deputy procureur was therefore the first magistrate of Marseille, when one morning his door opened, and Monsieur Morel was announced. Anyone else would have hastened to receive him, but Villefort was a man of ability, and he knew this would be a sign of weakness. He made Morel wait in the antechamber, although he had no one with him, for the simple reason that the king's procureur always makes everyone wait, and after passing a quarter of an hour in reading the papers, he ordered Monsieur Morel to be admitted. Morel expected Villefort would be dejected. He found him as he had found him 6 weeks before, calm, firm, and full of that glacial politeness, that most insurmountable barrier which separates the well-bred from the vulgar man. He had entered Villefort's office expecting that the magistrate would tremble at the sight of him. On the contrary, he felt the cold shudder all over him when he saw Villefort sitting there, with his elbow on his desk and his head leaning on his hand. He stopped at the door. Villefort gazed at him as if he had some difficulty in recognizing him, and then, after a brief interval, during which the honest ship-owner turned his hat on his hands.
Monsieur Morel, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Come near,
said the magistrate with a patronizing wave of the hand.
and tell me to what circumstance I owe the honor of this visit.
Do you not guess, monsieur?
Not in the least, but if I can serve you in any way, I shall be delighted.
Everything depends on you.
Explain yourself, pray.
Monsieur,
said Morel, recovering his assurance as he proceeded.
do you recollect that a few days before the landing of His Majesty the Emperor, I came to intercede for a young man, the mate of my ship, who was accused of being concerned in correspondence with the island of Elba. What was the other day a crime today, a title to favor? You then served Louis the 18th, and you did not show favor. It was your duty. Today you serve Napoleon, and you ought to protect him. It is equally your duty. I come, therefore, to ask what has become of him.
Villefort, by a strong effort, sought to control himself.
What is his name? Tell me his name.
Edmond Dantès.
Villefort would probably have rather stood opposite of a muzzle of a pistol at 25 paces than have heard this name spoken. But he did not blanch.
Dantès. Edmond Dantès.
Yes, monsieur.
Villefort opened a large register, then went to a table. From the table turned to his registers, and then turning to Morel.
Are you quite sure you're not mistaken, monsieur?
Said he, in the most natural tone in the world. Had Morel been a more quick-sighted man, or better versed in these matters, he would have been surprised at the king's procureur answering him on such a subject, instead of referring him to the governors of the prison or the prefect of the department. But Morel, disappointed in his expectations of exciting fear, was conscious only of the other's condescension. Villefort had calculated rightly.
No, I am not mistaken. I have known him for 10 years, the last 4 of which he was in my service. Do you not recollect I came about 6 weeks ago to plead for clemency, as I come today to plead for justice? You received me very coldly. Oh, the royalists were very severe with the Bonapartists in those days.
Monsieur, I was then a royalist because I believed the Bourbons not only the heirs to the throne, but the chosen of the nation. The miraculous return of Napoleon has conquered me. The legitimate monarch is he who is loved by his people.
That's right. I like to hear you thus, and I augur well for Edmond from it.
Wait a moment,
Said Villefort, turning over the leaves of a register.
I have it. A sailor who was about to marry a young Catalan girl. I recollect now. It was a very serious charge.
How so?
You know that when he left here, he was taken to the Palais de Justice.
Well,
I made my report to the authorities at Paris a week after he was carried off.
carried off? What can they have done to him?
Oh, he has been taken to Fenstrelles, to Pergnol, to the St. Margaret Islands. Some fine morning he will return to take command of your vessel.
Come when he will, it shall be kept for him. But how is he not already returned? It seems to me the first care of government should be set at... Blah. It seems to me the first care of government should be to set at liberty those who have suffered for their adherence to it.
Not be too hasty, Monsieur Morel. The order of imprisonment came from high authority, and the order for his liberation must proceed from the same source. And as Napoleon has scarcely been reinstated a fortnight, the letters have not yet been forwarded.
But is there no way of expediting these formalities, of releasing him from arrest?
There has been no arrest.
How?
It is sometimes essential to government to cause a man's disappearance without leaving any traces, so that no written forms or documents may defeat their wishes.
It might be so under the Bourbons, but at present...
It has always been so. my dear Morel. Since the reign of Louis XIV, the Emperor is more strict in prison discipline than even Louis himself. And the number of prisoners whose names are not on the register is incalculable.
Had Morel even any suspicions, so much kindness would have dispelled them.
Well, Monsieur de Villefort, how would you advise me to act?
Petition the minister.
Oh, I know what that is. The minister receives 200 petitions every day and does not read 3.
That is true. But he will read a petition countersigned and presented by me.
And will you undertake to deliver it?
With the greatest pleasure. Dantès was then guilty, and now he is innocent. And it is as much my duty to free him as it was to condemn him.
Villefort thus forestalled any danger of any inquiry, which, however improbable it might be, if it did take place, would leave him defenseless.
But how shall I address the minister?
Sit down there,
said Villefort, giving up his place to Morel,
and write what I dictate.
Will you be so good?
Certainly. But lose no time. We have lost too much already.
That is true. Only think what the poor fellow may even now be suffering.
Villefort shuddered at the suggestion, but he had gone too far to draw back. Dantès must be crushed to gratify Villefort's ambition. Villefort dictated a petition in which, from an excellent intention no doubt, Dantès' patriotic services were exaggerated, and he was made out one of the most active agents of Napoleon's return. It was evident that at the sight of this document the minister would instantly release him. The petition finished, Villefort read it aloud.
That will do. Leave the rest to me.
Will the petition go soon?
Today.
Countersigned by you?
The best thing I can do will be to certify the truth of the contents of your petition.
And sitting down, Villefort wrote the certificate at the bottom.
What more is to be done?
I will do whatever is necessary.
This assurance delighted Morel, who took leave of Villefort and hastened to announce to all Dantès that he would soon see his son. As for Villefort, instead of sending to Paris, he carefully preserved the petition that so fearfully compromised Dantès, in the hopes of an event that seemed not unlikely, that is, a second restoration. Dantès remained a prisoner, and heard not the noise of the fall of Louis XVIII's throne, or still more tragic, destruction of the empire. Twice during the 100 days had Morel renewed his demand, and twice had Villefort soothed him with promises. At last there was Waterloo, and Morel came no more. He had done all that was in his power, and any fresh attempt would only compromise himself uselessly. Louis XVIII remounted the throne. Villefort, to whom Marseille had become filled with remorseful memories, sought and obtained the situation of king's procureur at Toulouse, and a fortnight afterwards he married Mademoiselle de Saint-Méran, whose father now stood higher at court than ever. And so Dantès, after the 100 days and after Waterloo, remained in his dungeon, forgotten of earth and heaven. Danglars comprehended the full extent of the wretched fate that overwhelmed Dantès, and when Napoleon returned to France, he, after the manner of mediocre minds, termed the coincidence a decree of Providence. But when Napoleon returned to Paris, Danglars' heart failed him, and he lived in constant fear of Dantès' return on a mission of vengeance. He therefore informed Monsieur Morel of his wish to quit the sea, and obtained a recommendation from him to a Spanish merchant, into whose service he entered at the end of March, that is, 10 or 12 days after Napoleon's return. He then left for Madrid, and was no more heard of. Fernand understood nothing except that Dantès was absent. What had become of him he cared not to inquire. Only, during the respite the absence of his rival afforded him, he reflected, partly on the means of deceiving Mercedes as to the cause of his absence, partly on plans of emigration and abduction, as from time to time he sat, sad and motionless on the summit of Cape Faro, at the spot from whence Marseille and the Catalans are visible, watching for the apparition of a young and handsome man who was for him also the messenger of vengeance. Fernand's mind was made up. He would shoot Dantès, and then kill himself. But Fernand was mistaken. A man of his disposition never kills himself, for he constantly hopes. During this time, the empire made its last conscription, and every man in France capable of bearing arms rushed to obey the summons of the emperor. Fernand departed with the rest, bearing with him the terrible thought that while he was away, his rival would perhaps return and marry Mercedes. Had Fernand really meant to kill himself, he would have done so when he parted from Mercedes. His devotion and the compassion he showed for her misfortune produced the effect they always produce on noble minds. Mercedes had always a sincere regard for Fernand, and this was now strengthened by gratitude.
"My brother,"
said she, as she placed his knapsack on his shoulders.
"be careful of yourself, for if you are killed, I shall be alone in the world."
These words carried a ray of hope into Fernand's heart. Should Dantès not return, Mercedes might one day be his. Mercedes was left alone, to face with the vast plain that had never seemed so barren. Mercedes was left alone, face to face with the vast plain that had never seemed so barren, and the sea that had never seemed so vast. Bathed in tears, she wandered about the Catalan village. Sometimes she stood mute and motionless as a statue, looking toward Marseille. At other times gazing on the sea, and debating as to whether it were not better to cast herself into the abyss of the ocean, and thus end her woes. It was not want of courage that prevented her putting this resolution into execution, but her religious feelings came to her aid and saved her. Caderousse was like Ferdinand enrolled in the army, but being married and 8 years older, he was merely sent to the frontier. Old Dantès, who was only sustained by hope, lost all hope at Napoleon's downfall. 5 months after he had been separated from his son, and almost at the hour of his arrest, he breathed his last in Mercedes's arms. Monsieur Morel paid the expenses of his funeral and a few small debts the poor old man had contracted. There was more than benevolence in this action. There was courage. The South was aflame, and to assist even on his deathbed, the father of so dangerous a Bonapartist as Dantès was stigmatized as a crime. End of chapter.
Well, Ferdinand doesn't search far from the family tree for his love.
This is so sad, you
Nope.
guys. Oh, man.
Look, it's gotta get sad so that you got our protagonist has something to do.
No one's gonna bring back Papa Dantès, though. Aww.
I'm glad that Teal caught what Magpie said.
Did I say?
Happens to the best of us.
Did I say Ferdinand?
You did.
Oh well. Well, it happens. Well, oh well. You guys know my heart is pure and I am innocent of hands, mind, and heart. So,
We'll write
you-
it up as occupational hazard.
yeah, right. So do not put my honor into question, please. So everybody, I love how the story goes, like fills us in on what happens to all these villains. Villefort turning more villainous by the day. Just when just when I thought he couldn't get any worse, that little exchange with what's his name, with Mortier.
Nautier, yeah.
Morel, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mr.
he was
Morel.
talking
Yeah,
to
Monsieur
Morel.
Morel. That was villainous because he's like, and now I have double implication in case like the king, like Louis the 18th returns. Then now I have even more to like put him on.
Well, the man is a perfect politician, so he does what he does so that he can maintain a good position and advance in society.
I hate it.
And I agree. And everything that he does is with his own reputation in mind. It's not for justice as his station requires. It's for his own advancement.
Yep.
And poor Monsieur Morel chases this all up with the man who condemned Dantès.
There's something
Like, if he
so
had gone to another magistrate, I wonder what would have
Yeah.
happened.
there's something so tragically sad about Morel, who he believes in the system. He believes in the people that are in the system, but the system is not meant to protect people. It's just meant to protect itself, and sadly, that's what just happened here. Like,
And that's why we should overthrow the government. Wait, no. In Minecraft.
I'm staying out of politics here.
No,
I
just-
don't want.
just in general, like, I think Monsieur Morel is kind of like another Dantès, but a different side, like a more mild Dantès, still the same kind of like the fresh-faced innocence almost. Not quite, because he's older and but still just he's like depending on like this guy to do the things, and but
It's what
Mhm.
it's what Dante's would have become in a different world,
Mhm.
in a different time.
I think so too. And you know what? It's not, that doesn't make him any weaker though. Like it makes him tragic because like he was like he was deceived by this villainous villain, Villefort, a fort of
Villainous
villain,
villain.
a fort of villains. That's what I think now. But he was when Father Dantès did not have any friends, like he helped pay off the debts he left behind, and he gave him a funeral during a time when it was now dangerous and a criminal act to assist anybody who was Bonapartist. So I don't know how many people here know about this story or history. This one pretty clear. It was pretty clear on how it went, but basically, what's his face? Napoleon escaped from Elba, went into France. He actually gathered, like, as he went, he gathered a lot of people. They said, like, I think some historians say that it was like the war that didn't fire anybody, like there was no deaths or something like that. That's something that historians say. I don't know if that's true or not, but he basically took power, but then like all of these armies, the European powers, they were like, no bro, we have to take him down right now. So then they gathered, they fought Waterloo.
This man is a threat to the nobility. We must strike him down.
Yeah, so then he was ultimately defeated at Waterloo. He tried to go back to Paris to convince people, like, hey, like, we can do this, like, let's kind of like give me more power. let's do this, we can rally, right? But they were like, no bro. And eventually the king came back and he was ousted. And then all the European powers were like, yeah, Elba was not far enough. We're going to send you to, what, Mount St. Helene or something like that? That's like off the coast of Africa. like far away. So like that's where he died. But so there was only like a small window where Dantès could have been brought back, and no. So once the king returned, like everybody was again royalist, and this is why it was kind of like Gerard Villefort, he had a hunch that it was gonna happen, that like there might be a return of the king, like this new government would not be stable enough, and his father even hinted like it might not happen, like you might return to power. So I just thought it was so dumb and villainous of him. Again, he was like, I'm gonna hold off on marrying my fiance. Just in case I can find somebody else, like just in case Napoleon remains in power, I can marry another girl who has the influences enough to get me ahead in Bonaparte's new rule. But he was waiting. So I was like, you low man, I don't like you. So far I have had more words to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far I've had more words to say about Villefort than Danglars. But what do you guys think about Danglars and Fernand and their fates?
Well, which one was the one that? Oh, Danglars. Dude's a coward. He knew what was coming to him, and he said, "I'm out of here."
In many ways, though, he's pretty smart for doing it.
Mm-hmm. So that means that that's the last we'll ever see of him. Yay! He's gone. Went to Madrid. Adios. Adios. We'll never see him again, right? Good.
Definitely. Yeah.
Teal laughs and spoilers. Ha 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 ha. And then Fernand is...
Joined the army.
No. You gotta say it right. Ferdinand.
Okay, you know what, Patrick? You've gone one. You're about to be muted. I shall mute you. I've been really cautious about not saying it wrong. Hey! So I'm gonna mute you for about a minute.
Whoa, what the heck? What happened?
I called him Ferdinand.
Alright. Nah. Okay, so...
Is that not his name?
It's not. Alright, his name is Fernand, okay? The bad guy, he's Fernand. He went to join the army.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, anything else about this chapter? I feel sorry for Mercedes. I do. But good on her for being with Papa Dantès in his last breaths. It's always, so sad to think of like somebody, like an elderly person dying on their own. So I'm glad that she was there for him. I think I see Crusher you submitted in... Here we go.
Oh yeah, my AI image.
Yep, there's your image. That was chapter 13, Hyundai's.
Yeah.
Alright. So Villefort is saying, I'll see what I can do. And poor Monsieur Morel, he's like, please help. Then Danglars flees. And Fernand joins the army. And then Dante's father dies in poverty. And yeah, unfortunately.
I will say, all of this happened in this chapter, and there's very little hallucinating in this image. So kudos, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Except for, I'm guessing, some... Yeah, no, I think it's good. Yeah, it's getting better and better. Except for the title at the bottom, Hyundai's. Hyundai's.
Honda days.
Honda days.
Believe it or not, it was way worse than this. I actually had to edit it a little bit.
I was wondering too, because I noticed the did you put a dot on top of Mercedes's face? Was it uncanny?
Yeah, it was bad. So I was all like, I'm just gonna.
She has like
Gone into witness protection.
she got a lip surgery to make those lips supple and
Her
large.
face looked like a potato.
Thank you for sparing us the audacity.
Butterface.
We have a horse. No, it's not too bad. Usually you get horses from AI. And I see the text. Is that the text you kind of did? I'll see what I can do and release Dante's ability.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for the illustration. Anything else about this chapter you guys think we should really touch upon?
Oh, I got another image, but like this one isn't edited.
Oh. All right. Okay, let's show it to the people. I don't think it's too bad. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Oops. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a little bit. Okay, here we go. Napoleon will return. I support the king. You usurer. Usurer. Oh, I love that. It's not often I get to see the word being in use, so I think, yeah. The general's death was necessary. I support the king. That's he's saying the same thing. He's shaving. Imagine him saying, "I support the king, a usurper," as he shaves. Notier lives in disguise.
But what is he shaving? He doesn't have any facial hair in any of the pictures.
That is true. So
Also, it looks like Nautier is the younger person in this.
Yeah, the speech bubbles are all over the place, like always.
yeah, so here they're flipped. Nortier is, yeah, that's just weird. But it's just a pop quiz to see if you guys remembered. Yeah, so you guys passed. Now, he didn't quite burn the coat, he burnt the cane. He put the coat at the bottom of his portmanteau and he took it home. And then everybody in the city is wearing a hat. There's Mercedes. And Nortier dyed his hair too. Yeah, no wonder they didn't catch him.
Mercedes looks like she's got a black eye.
It's her potato face.
Same with the guard in the
why
back.
the AI hates Mercedes.
Because it's saying you should
Because
buy.
prefers Porsche.
Yeah. You should buy something else.
I
buy
get
American. Buy American. All right. So you guys, this concludes today's read along. I know you guys had a whole bunch of stuff to say, but you guys are gonna have to save it for the comment section because I got some place to be. But I had a whole bunch of fun today, and thank you for joining us. Let's see, today reading was Gerard de Villefort was Yay 82, Monsieur Nortier de Villefort was Teal, Monsieur Pierre Morel was Patrick, and Mercedes was Teal. Highlighter MVP was Teal, and AI images of dubious accuracy by Crusher. Thanks, all of you guys. You guys make these streams so much fun. And I hope you guys join us on Friday. We will be having our usual read party at 1 as always, unless something happens. But I don't foresee any delays or anything that would cause us to have to postpone. Yeah. Hope you guys, let me see, did I forget somebody in the chat? I feel like I cuff student loans cuff. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good.
That's in reference to Teal's comment about the definition of usurer. Or
usurer, a person who lends money out. Yes. Oh, yes. All right, you guys, please stay safe and do not whatever you do, take any student loans if you're able to. All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for joining me, gang. We'll see you on Friday. Bye.
More hijinks.
Sayonara!
No hijinks, no. Adios.
Bye.